हैं। और करीब 500 साल पहले जब बाबर का सेनापति मीर बाकी आया हुआ था, मंदिर को उसने तोप लगा करके तोड़ दिया। उसके बाद हमारे बाबा को पता चला, ठाकुर गजरा सिंह को, उन्होंने यहाँ पे 90,000 सूर्यवंश क्षत्रियों को एकत्रित किया और रास्ते में जाते वक्त सूर्यकुंड पड़ता है, जहाँ सूर्य भगवान का मंदिर है, हम लोगों के कुल देवता है। सभी लोगों 90,000 लोगों ने वहीं पर खड़े होकर के कसम खाई कि जब तक हम इन अकर्ताओं से अपने जो है रामलला मस्जिद को तोड़ करके हम अगर वो मंदिर नहीं बनवा लेंगे या भगवान राम को वहाँ स्थापित नहीं करा लेंगे, तब तक हम लोग जो है लौट के नहीं आएंगे, चाहे जो हो।
और अब आप बताइए कि किस तरह से जो भावनाएं हैं, क्योंकि कितने सालों से अब ये हमारी ये मान्यता थी कि पगड़ी नहीं करेंगे। एक तो उसका एक हमें ये भी बताइए कि किस मतलब से ये प्रतिज्ञा ली गई थी और अब क्या अब आपकी
भावना ये है कि अब भगवान रामलला अपने स्थान पर जा रहे हैं गृह प्रवेश में, तो हम लोग भावना जो है बहुत खुशी की बात है। अब पगड़ी जूता जो है और छतरी जो है अब पहनेंगे जो है, इसीलिए बहुत खुशी की बात है जो हम लोग को बस।
All right, so this essentially is basically the sentiment here of the people who essentially are looking at after 500 years, they will be first up going to be also taking the turban and then also using the shoes made out of leather, as they had decided about 500 years ago that they will be giving up on both of these things. And then perhaps now, after the Pran Pratishtha program also takes place of the Ram Temple by 22nd of January, is when they will be breaking this fast, so to speak, as well. With video journalist Vipin Mori, I'm Priyanka Sharma for Republic.
All right, friends, so that's Priyanka from Ayodhya getting you the story of Suryavanshi Thakur families that have waited for centuries for the Ram temple to come up. And in fact, now we have to move back to an important story, which is the Supreme Court verdict in the Adani case. And we are told that very soon we are going to be joined in by top legal eagle of the country, Mukul Rohatgi. Interviewing him would, of course, be Editor-in-Chief Arnab Goswami, just in a bit.
On the big Adani verdict of the Supreme Court, I'm joined by top legal eagle, Supreme Court senior advocate, former Attorney General. We have with us Mr. Mukul Rohatgi. Good evening, sir. You know, this Adani verdict today is already the subject of a political conversation. In a sense, the court has reposed its faith, Mr. Rohatgi, in the SEBI. Now, does this amount to an exoneration of the Adani group completely, in your view?
I think it does, because Adani group has been saying from the beginning that it has not conducted any dubious transactions or any malfeasance or misfeasance on their behalf. The Supreme Court has upheld the integrity of SEBI. It has upheld the integrity of the committee appointed by the Supreme Court, headed by a retired judge. It has also commented adversely on petitions being filed based on third-party reports which are not verified and which cannot be called evidence. And it has also rejected a transfer of investigation from SEBI to any criminal body like a CBI, etc. So according to me, on all fronts, the Supreme Court has refused to entertain any plea raised by the writ petitioners.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, SEBI is also going to investigate, who made the money due to the short selling after the Hindenburg report. So that also should be a focus, shouldn't it? Because the Adani group lost a lot of value in this period. It lost over 40, 50, 60 billion dollars
right.
in value in that short period. So what happens there?
Yeah, but see, Arnab, you are absolutely right. I have been saying on different channels that the focus should not only be on Adani as a group. The real focus should be on the shareholders, including the small stakeholders who have invested their life savings in the Adani companies. It is they who have suffered. I mean, Mr. Adani may have suffered loss of reputation, etc., etc. But the real suffering is by the man who feels the pinch. They have lost money because a professional organization whose avowed object is to do short selling, create upheaval in the market and make money, has got away with this. And therefore, we have to wipe a tear from every eye to see that those people who have suffered, there should be some recompense to them. How will that recompense come? The recompense can only come, as you rightly say, by finding out who were the people who made these windfall profits. If they are available in India or are within the reach of the law in India, then certainly the law must go after them, because these are unjustified windfall profits. They are tainted with illegality.
But is that possible? Is it possible to chase that? Because Mr. Rohatgi, in our country it is said that malicious prosecution is very difficult to achieve. Equally, who would be the party who would do the recompensation here? I mean, Hindenburg cannot be made to pay up. So if the Adani group or individual shareholders have lost money, who do they go after? I mean, can they go after the political parties who passed this falsehood as the truth? Should they go after the political parties or the specific individuals who are part of a concerted campaign to make the Hindenburg report look, like the last word?
Arunab, I will answer it in two phases. One, the political parties are guilty of highlighting these issues and creating havoc in the market, leading to losses of the shareholders. They are guilty of that, and they have filed petitions or backed these petitions. So first thing, the court should have dismissed these petitions or should have closed these matters by imposing huge costs for filing frivolous PILs which had no basis, spending valuable court time which could be used by a lot of under trials who are suffering in jail. All that time has been lost, and etc., etc. So they should be mulcted with costs so as to provide an adverse scenario for those who indulge in these kind of PILs, which are not public interest litigations but private interest litigations, or if I may use the phrase used by the Supreme Court in some cases, as publicity interest litigation. So that is one part. The second part is, as you rightly say, that if Hindenburg is not available in India, then it is very difficult to go after Hindenburg for purposes of recompense. But if there are other parties which are within the reach of the law, who have made these gains which were unauthorized, then one can have an investigation to see if somebody loses, then somebody wins. Who is that person who has won that money in short-term gains? And if they are within the reach of the law, investigation should be done and the matter should be followed to the logical end for purposes of recompense.
That's very, very important, because there has to be some justice at some point. Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, thank you very much for speaking to me and consistently maintaining your stand on this Adani issue, which has been proven to be completely correct. Mukul Rohatgi, it's a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar. AMFI Mutual Funds. Sahi hai. Co-powered by Sera. This is your space. Play it your way. Philips Smart Wi-Fi LED lights. Smarter generation की smart lights.
हेलो बेटा।
मिस्टर विकास के साथ कौन है?
बस बेटा थोड़ी देर और। वो मिस्टर विकास की फाइल आप पॉलिसी बाजार। मैम आपका हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है। अब आप सर को घर ले जा सकती हैं।
क्लेम के टाइम पे हमेशा आपकी हेल्प को तैयार। पॉलिसी बाजार, 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
QSMTHE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
जहां यादगार होता है हर एक किस्सा, इको रिट्रीट ओडिशा।
Kia, movement that inspires.
भाई इतनी बड़ी टाइल,
इतनी बड़ी बड़ी हिट्स आप लोगों ने मुझे दी हैं। टाइल्स तो बड़े होने चाहिए। सुमानी मैक्स टाइल्स, टाइलों का सबसे बड़ा भाई। सुमानी मैक्स टाइल्स जमीन से जुड़े।
Whenever I had ice cream or cold water, I would experience a sharp shooting sensation, so I just kept ignoring it. Even my hot chai was giving me the same amount of discomfort. My dentist recommended Sensodyne, so now I can be completely carefree and sip my hot cup of tea. It really works.
हिंदुओं की आस्था के सबसे बड़े केंद्रों में से एक, पावन और धार्मिक नगरी अयोध्या भगवान श्री राम की जन्मभूमि है। इसी राम नगरी में ही साकार हो रहा है करोड़ों सनातनियों का सदियों पुराना सपना। मंदिर के उद्घाटन का भारत समेत दुनिया भर के राम भक्तों को बेसब्री से इंतजार है। जैसे जैसे इस भव्य मंदिर में दर्शन की तारीख नजदीक आ रही है, वैसे वैसे आस्था का सैलाब हिलोरे ले रहा है। जनवरी 2024 में रामलला अपने भव्य धाम में विराजमान होने वाले हैं। दशकों से संघर्ष और त्याग के बाद जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट का फैसला आया तो पूरे देश की उम्मीद भरोसे में बदल गई। उसी विश्वास के पहिए को प्रधानमंत्री मोदी और सीएम योगी ने रफ्तार दी।
टिप चाहिए, पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा और मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
I would like to begin by congratulating the districts, the states, the missions and posts जो आज के जो अवॉर्डीज जो हैं, मैं सबको बधाई देता हूँ, सबकी प्रशंसा करता हूँ। G20 was a way of getting India ready for the world and world ready for India. ODOP was one part of it. Another related aspect was that when people came during G20 and saw the culture, उन्होंने अलग जगह देखी, they saw our arts, craft, monuments, but finally they took back ODOP. Now, it has actually had a very strong impact on tourism. So I expect ODOP to actually translate into stronger tourism in the years to come. And आप सब जानते हैं कि tourism, nothing is a more powerful driver of employment tourism, because tourism से बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं। लोग आते हैं, एयरपोर्ट में आते हैं, टैक्सियों में जाते हैं, होटल में रुकते हैं। There are hundreds of ways by which tourism impacts a country, and again, ODOP can, is, and should become a more powerful driver of tourism. अब मैंने कहा कि ODOP जो है एक किस्म से हमारी विविधता का एक प्रकट है, पर हमारे विरासत का भी है। और इसीलिए जो हमारी इनिशिएटिव जो थी, द विश्वकर्मा इनिशिएटिव, with many of us associated ourselves. The Vishwakarma initiative is meant to keep the ODOP, the foundation of the ODOP, strong. That by keeping alive, because Vishwakarma initiative provides employment, but it keeps alive traditions, it keeps alive skills. It is an appreciation of us, of our own past, and most important, it is central to our identity.
Powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र. AMFI Mutual Funds. सही है. Co-powered by Sera. This is your space. Play it your way. Philips Smart Wi-Fi LED lights. Smarter generation की smart lights.
कुछ महीने पहले मेरे दोस्त की हेल्थ अचानक खराब हुई और कुछ दिनों में ही उसकी डेथ हो गई. उसने पॉलिसी बाजार से टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लिया हुआ था. मैंने पॉलिसी बाजार को कांटेक्ट किया. उनकी टीम ने क्लेम दिलाने में उसकी पेरेंट्स की पूरी हेल्प की.
क्लेम के टाइम पे आपकी हेल्प के लिए हमेशा तैयार. पॉलिसी बाजार 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 470 रुपए महीने से शुरू.
हमारे देश को आजाद हुए 76 साल हो गए, लेकिन कई चीजों में हमको अभी आजादी नहीं मिली. जैसे कि सरकारी दफ्तरों में दुश्वारियां, परेशानियां, बद इंतजामियां. हमारे शहीदों को इस बात की कतई चिंता नहीं थी कि देश को आजादी मिलेगी या ना, लेकिन उनको एक बात की चिंता थी कि आजादी के बाद देश कौन से हाथों में जाएगा, देश के हालात क्या होंगे. हमने आजादी की जंग इसलिए लड़ी थी ताकि हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ियों की जिंदगी आसान हो सके, ना कि इसलिए कि वो जगह जगह पर सरकारी दफ्तरों में धक्के खाएं, परेशानियों का सामना करना पड़े. अगर जंग सबने इकट्ठे होकर लड़ी थी आजादी की, तो फिर सुख सहूलतें भी सबको इकट्ठी मिलनी चाहिए. हम तो शहीदों के पांव की मिट्टी के एक धूल के तिनके के बराबर भी नहीं है, लेकिन ये बसंती रंग की पग शहीदों के सपनों और इरादों की हमें याद दिलाती रहती है कि हमारे देश में आम लोगों के सिर्फ दिन रात नहीं, हालात बदलने चाहिए. चुनाव के समय हम लोगों के पास जा सकते हैं, तो चुनाव के बाद सरकार बनती है, तो सरकार बनने के बाद भी सरकारों को जनता के पास जाना चाहिए, ना कि जनता सरकारी दफ्तरों में खज्जल खुआर हो. यही आजादी के असली मायने हैं. शहीद आजम सरदार भगत सिंह जी के सपनों को साकार करने के लिए पंजाब सरकार ने फैसला किया है कि पंजाब के लोगों को अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर नहीं लगाने पड़ेंगे, बल्कि सरकारी दफ्तर खुद चल के लोगों के घर पर आएंगे.
अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर काटने की जरूरत नहीं. बस डायल करें 1076 और सरकारी सुविधाएं अपने घर पर ही पाएं. पंजाब की भगवंत मान सरकार आपके द्वार.
आपने सोमानी का नया रोल देखा? वही स्टाइल और रेंज सोमानी बाथवेयर में भी. सोमानी बाथवेयर.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
मोदी सरकार की गारंटी, हर घर पहुंचेगा नल से जल. अब तक 13.5 करोड़ से अधिक नल कनेक्शन. हमारा संकल्प विकसित भारत.
केंट से पानी होता है 100% प्योर.
केंट आरओ प्योरिटी दिखाता भी है.
केंट देता है सबसे शुद्ध पानी.
Despite multiple summons being sent out to Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal by the Enforcement Director, the Chief Minister decided to not once again attend the summons that were sent out to him. In fact, The Chief Minister says that a malicious campaign has been started, so much so he says that he does not know whether he's being called in as a witness or a suspect, something that the Chief Minister has completely ignored, that this after all happens to be the prerogative of the federal agency. He's also come under immense flack from the opposition party, where the BJP says that if the Chief Minister thinks that he is an honest person, why exactly would he not really respond to the summons that have been sent not once but twice? Listen to some of the reactions coming in.
ईडी ने या केंद्र सरकार ने ये नहीं बताया कि वे अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को किस हैसियत से बुला रहे हैं। ना वो गवाह हैं, ना वो अभियुक्त हैं। ईडी ने अब तक साफ नहीं किया। टाइमिंग पे भी सवाल उठते हैं। ठीक लोकसभा के चुनाव से पहले जब सारे दल और केंद्र सरकार खुद लोकसभा के चुनाव की तैयारी कर रही है, उन चुनावों की कैंपेन से पहले मुख्यमंत्री अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गिरफ्तार करने की साजिश केंद्र सरकार कर रही है, ताकि मुख्यमंत्री लोकसभा चुनाव की कैंपेन में ना जा पाए, उनको जेल में बंद कर दिया जाए।
तो चुनाव के पहले सीए का नोटिफिकेशन करने जा रहे हैं और हेमंत सोरेन के ऊपर के जो सहयोगी है उनके ऊपर इस समय छापा पड़ रहा है और छत्तीसगढ़ में चुनाव के समय झूठा आरोप लगाया गया बघेल जी के ऊपर और ईडी के गलत नोटिसेस गए, वहाँ पर दबाव डाला गया और वही विपक्ष के साथ किया जा रहा है और विपक्षी गठबंधन में अरविंद केजरीवाल जी भी हैं, तो इलीगल है। सोच समझ के उन्होंने कहा होगा कि इलीगल है, लेकिन यह बात तो सच है कि इन सारी एजेंसियों का जो काम था वह न करके विपक्ष के ऊपर दबाव बनाने का ही काम कर रही हैं।
Sensing an opportunity, the principal opposition party in the national capital, Bharatiya Janata Party, has taken on the Chief Minister of Delhi, saying that if at all he believes that he's an honest person, why exactly would he not respond to the summons? And not just that, the BJP says that his colleagues have now been sent to the jail only because Arvind Kejriwal believes that they are sacrificial lambs. Listen in to what the BJP had to say.
निश्चित तौर पर जो लोग राजनीति में आने से पहले ईमानदारी की दुहाई देते थे, आज सबसे बड़ी बेईमान पार्टी आम आदमी पार्टी बनी है।
जहां जहां पैसे अरविंद केजरीवाल जी ने दिए हैं उनका हिसाब है। अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के पास इन चीज़ों का जवाब नहीं है। अगर होता तो जब संजय सिंह के लिए बोलते थे, जो लोगों के बच्चों की बात थी, संजय सिंह जाएंगे जेल जी, ये जेल में रहेंगे जी, मनीष सिसोदिया जेल जाएंगे जी, ये शहीद भगत सिंह है जी, इनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता। लेकिन जब अपनी बात आई तो हवा निकल गई।
कट्टर बेईमान अरविंद केजरीवाल जो कभी ये कहते थे कि भारत से भ्रष्टाचार को खत्म करना है, ये दीमक है। आज भारतीय राजनीति का वो भ्रष्टाचारी दीमक बन गए हैं, जिनको ये गलत फहमी है, ये गुमा है कि मैं कानून से ऊपर हूं।
Today, once again, Mr. Kejriwal has skipped the third summons also. This shows that चोर की मूंछ में तिनका जरूर है, that there is something to hide, therefore he's acting like an absconder and like a criminal.
Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of the biggest story tonight. On the other side, news and updates continue.
Powered by Amity University, ranked amongst the top 3 universities globally.
QS&T achieved. The world's foremost university rankings organizations have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
हमारे देश को आजाद हुए 76 साल हो गए, लेकिन कई चीजों में हमको अभी आजादी नहीं मिली। जैसे कि सरकारी दफ्तरों में दुश्वारियां, परेशानियां, बदइंतजामियां। हमारे शहीदों को इस बात की कतई चिंता नहीं थी कि देश को आजादी मिलेगी या ना, लेकिन उनको एक बात की चिंता थी कि आजादी के बाद देश कौन से हाथों में जाएगा, देश के हालात क्या होंगे। हमने आजादी की जंग इसलिए लड़ी थी ताकि हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ियों की जिंदगी आसान हो सके, ना कि इसलिए कि वो जगह जगह पर सरकारी दफ्तरों में धक्के खाएं, परेशानियों का सामना करना पड़े। अगर जंग सबने इकट्ठे होकर लड़ी थी आजादी की, तो फिर सुख सहूलतें भी सबको इकट्ठी मिलनी चाहिए। हम तो शहीदों के पांव की मिट्टी के एक धूल के तिनके के बराबर भी नहीं है, लेकिन ये बसंती रंग की पग शहीदों के सपनों और इरादों की हमें याद दिलाती रहती है कि हमारे देश में आम लोगों के सिर्फ दिन रात नहीं, हालात बदलने चाहिए। चुनाव के समय हम लोगों के पास जा सकते हैं, तो चुनाव के बाद सरकार बनती है, तो सरकार बनने के बाद भी सरकारों को जनता के पास जाना चाहिए, ना कि जनता सरकारी दफ्तरों में खज्जल खुआर हो। यही आजादी के असली मायने हैं। शहीद आजम सरदार भगत सिंह जी के सपनों को साकार करने के लिए पंजाब सरकार ने फैसला किया है कि पंजाब के लोगों को अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर नहीं लगाने पड़ेंगे, बल्कि सरकारी दफ्तर खुद चल के लोगों के घर पर आएंगे।
अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर काटने की जरूरत नहीं, बस डायल करें 1076 और सरकारी सुविधाएं अपने घर पर ही पाएं। पंजाब की भगवंत मान सरकार आपके द्वार।
भाई इतनी बड़ी टाइल,
इतनी बड़ी बड़ी हिट्स आप लोगों ने मुझे दी हैं। टाइल्स तो बड़े होने चाहिए। सुमानी मैक्स टाइल्स, टाइलों का सबसे बड़ा भाई। सुमानी मैक्स टाइल्स, जमीन से जुड़े।
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
मोदी सरकार की गारंटी, महिलाओं के लिए धुआं मुक्त रसोई। प्रधानमंत्री उज्ज्वला योजना के तहत 10 करोड़ गैस कनेक्शन। हमारा संकल्प विकसित भारत।
Fast 50. I'm Shivangi Shukla. Let's get started. PM Modi is in Kerala today. Earlier today, he conducted a roadshow where he greeted thousands of people present at the Swaraj ground. To catch a glimpse of him following the roadshow, the Prime Minister addressed a mass gathering of women in the Bharatiya Janata Party's Mahila Conference. Addressing a mass gathering of women at the BJP's Mahila Conference, Prime Minister Modi highlighted the initiatives that the centre has taken to strengthen what he calls Stree Shakti. He highlighted that 10 crore gas connections have been provided in the last 10 years. He also said that the laws that were put on hold by the opposition are finally taken into recognition and implemented. He also has talked about triple talaq and said that the Modi government has helped Muslim women in the fight against this injustice. The BJP has staged a protest against the arrest of the Kar Sevak for alleged involvement in the riots after the Babri Masjid demolition in 1982. Now the protest broke out at Hubballi city of Karnataka, where the workers protested with slogans and protest the posters. Responding to the arrest of Kar Sevak in Karnataka, leaders of opposition in Karnataka Legislative Assembly, R. Ashoka, slammed the Congress. He said that the Congress is doing hooliganism, is arresting Hindu workers because the Ram temple is being inaugurated. Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah has condemned the BJP protesters in Hubballi and said that anyone who does something wrong needs to be punished. He further questioned the BJP's intention over holding these protests and said that the Karnataka government only takes action against those who commit crimes. Letter to ED, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has sought a questionnaire from the agency and also questioned the intent of the summons served to him. He also mentions in the letter that the Rajya Sabha elections are to take place on Jan 19th, and he also has participated in the Republic Day program on Jan 26th as Chief Minister of Delhi. Today, in the Adani Hindenburg case, the Supreme Court mentioned its limited power to interfere with SEBI's rules. The court also advised the government and SEBI to think about improving rules based on an expert committee's advice. Additionally, the court decided not to order a special probe into the Adani Hindenburg matter. Senior advocate Mukul Rohtagi has said that the court has trusts the SEBI and it does not warrant any CBI or any police probe as demanded in 4 petitions. He also confirmed that no material was found to warrant any other investigation. Congress leader B.K. Hariprasad has stoked a controversy today as he claimed that there is a possibility of Godhra-like incident in Karnataka in a run to attend the consecration ceremony of Ram Temple set to take place on 22nd Jan in Ayodhya. He further said that all arrangements should be made for those who want to go to Ayodhya to avoid a Godhra-like incident from taking place in Karnataka. Reacting to Hari Prasad's statement of a Godhra-like situation in Karnataka, former Chief Minister of Karnataka, D.V. Sadananda Gowda, has said that a complaint should be registered against Congress's Hari Prasad and said that he should be arrested. Amid the ongoing row with the Ayodhya Ram Temple inauguration, Congress leader Vijay Singh questioned the whereabouts of original Ram idol and the necessity for a new one.
इस रामलला की लड़ाई पर मूर्ति पर सारा झगड़ा हुआ, वो मूर्ति कहाँ है? वो मूर्ति स्थापित क्यों नहीं हुई? नई मूर्ति कहाँ से आ रही है? वो रामलला की मूर्ति जिस पर कि सारा झगड़ा हुआ, वो कहाँ है? इस पर हम लोग उनसे पूछना चाहते हैं कि नई मूर्ति की आवश्यकता क्या पड़ी?
West Bengal BJP MP Sadhvi Niranjan has lashed out at the opposition for boycotting the Ram Temple inauguration and said that Lord Ram does not exist for them and if opposition has faith in him, they will visit the temple.
नकार चुके हैं, राम कोई पैदा ही नहीं हुए हैं, राम सेतु था ही नहीं, तो वो लोग कैसे विश्वास करेंगे? इनको हम नहीं सफाई दे सकते हैं.
Former wrestler Sakshi Malik has said that she only had problems with Sanjay Singh and not with the federation. She expressed concern over Brij Bhushan targeting her family.
हमें जो है नई फेडरेशन से कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी, सिर्फ हमें एक आदमी से दिक्कत थी, संजय सिंह से. और अगर नई फेडरेशन दोबारा आती है तो उससे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ना ही हमें एड हॉक कमेटी से भी कोई दिक्कत है. मैं माननीय प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी, अमित शाह जी, इन सब से मैं अभी भी यही निवेदन करती हूँ कि जैसा कि आप इतने समय से देख रहे हैं, वो अभी भी संजय सिंह है, वो कैसे आंखें दिखा रहा है, तो मैं नहीं चाहती कि फेडरेशन में जो है उसका दोबारा से कोई इंटरफेरेंस हो. ये आपसे निवेदन है.
Young wrestlers protested against Olympic winners Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik and Vinesh Fogata in Delhi and accused them of ruining wrestling. CPIM leader Sitaram Yechuri said that the Citizenship Amendment Act is being clarified just before the election because it is being used as a political weapon to gain in the elections through sharpening communal polarization.
Very clear for all these years since the law has been passed. The rules were framed, we were told, but they were not notified. Clearly, they want to notify these rules just before the election, to use this as a political weapon in order to gain in the elections through communal polarization, sharpening communal polarization.
The president of AIMM, Asudin Owaisi, has labelled the Citizenship Amendment Act as anti-constitutional and said that if CAA is implemented, it will be a grave injustice, especially to the Muslims, the Dalits and the poor of India.
is anti-constitution. It is a law which has been made on the basis of religion. It will be a grave injustice, especially to the Muslims, to the Dalits, and to the especially poor people of India, irrespective of which caste and religion they belong to. It is unconstitutional because it is made on religion. Secondly, it has to be understood with NPR NRC.
Bihar Deputy CM Tejasvi Yadav hits out at Union Home Minister Amit Shah's reaffirmation of CAA implementation and said that as elections approaching, issues like Hindu-Muslim will come up.
पार्टी ने स्पष्ट रूप से इस बात को किया। अब चुनाव आएगा तो इस तरह के मुद्दे आएंगे, हिंदू मुसलमान मंदिर मस्जिद, और कोई मुद्दा है क्या?
Supreme Court has directed the Lok Sabha Secretary General to respond in 2 weeks to Mahua Moitwa's plea contesting expulsion from Lok Sabha in a cash for query case. Advocate J. Anand Dehadrai lodged a complaint with the CBI citing serious concerns of surveillance by Mahua Moitra. He said that the fight is dangerous, but he will not step back.
अभी कुछ कहना गलत होगा इसमें क्योंकि मामला अभी सब जुडिस है और कंप्लेंट मैंने सीबीआई को दे दी है, लेकिन ये इशू बहुत ही सीरियस है और इसमें कई लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं और जिनके खिलाफ मैंने कंप्लेंट की है उनके साथ कोई उड़ीसा के भी हैं जो उनको सपोर्ट और फाइनेंस कर रहे हैं। तो ये फाइट थोड़ी सी डेंजरस है, लेकिन मैं हटने वाला नहीं हूँ।
PM Modi inaugurated and laid the foundation and stone of 7 development projects worth rupees 1,156 crores in Lakshmadweep. PM Modi also distributed laptops, bicycles, Kisan cards and Ayushman cards to the beneficiaries of several schemes. Karnataka CM Siddharamaiah is going to hold a meeting along with the Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar tomorrow. The meeting is being held to hold discussions on the upcoming parliamentary elections. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh announced Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar as a chief guest for Startup Expo at Industrial Biotech Park in Kathua, Jammu and Kashmir. The event is being held tomorrow. The minister revealed that the Gaganyaan test flights for sending humans to space are reaching their final stages this year. So run up to the upcoming Lok Sabha elections to be held in April-May this year. Bharatiya Janata Party National President JP Nadda is paying a one-day visit to Jammu on Jan 7th. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will pay a 2-day visit to Nepal beginning tomorrow. The visit aims to boost cooperation in an array of areas including hydropower, connectivity, digital payments and trade. While addressing a rally in Uttar Pradesh, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh has said that there is only one religion and that is Sanatan Dharma. Speaking further, the Chief Minister said that Sanatan Dharma has maintained its vitality in every country, every time, in every situation. At least 12 people died and dozens of people have been reportedly injured after a bus collided with a truck in Assam. The incident was reported in the early hours today near the Golaghat district. The NIA has now conducted searches at 31 places in Haryana and Rajasthan in connection with the murder of Sri Rashtriya Rajput Karni Sena Chief Sukhdev Singh Gokra Suktil irrigation project in Bulangi today. The project aims to boost irrigation and support local farmers. The project set to complete its distribution system next year will eventually irrigate about 1 lakh acres across 203 villages, benefiting around 75,000 farmers in the state. Chhattisgarh CM Vishnu Deo Sai along with Deputy CM Jay Sharma and Arun Sao chaired the state cabinet meeting in Raipur today itself. Anganwadi workers staged a protest in Andhra Pradesh's Vijayawada demanding urgent resolution to their grievances. The protesters were detained by police. Israeli strike claimed the life of Saleh Arori, Hamas's second-ranking political leader. Arori, a key figure in Hamas and a co-founder of its military branch, was a most senior Hamas member lost during the ongoing war with Israel. Shortly after the announcement of the top Hamas official Arori's death in Lebanon, protesters in Ramallah's West Bank streets called for revenge and urged Lebanon's Hezbollah Secretary General Saeed Hassan to respond. Israeli military spokesperson Daniel Hagari has reaffirmed focus on countering Hamas after an explosion in Beirut killed a senior leader of the Islamic militant group. The attack in Beirut raised concerns that Lebanon's Hezbollah group could strike back in revenge. Israeli military troops engaged in firing while tanks moved towards southern Israel area close to the Gaza border. Israel announced that it would withdraw several thousand troops from Gaza in the upcoming weeks with the aim of shifting its offensive. Israeli airstrike has killed at least 3 people and wounded 3 others in southern Gaza's Rafah. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to press ahead with the assault in Gaza until Hamas is crushed and hostages are freed. Israeli military has released footage of what it says are strikes carried out on Hamas militants, infrastructure and tunnel shafts in the Gaza Strip. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said that Israel is not planning to hold the war. Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh thanked South Africa for launching a case at the UN top court accusing Israel of genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. He also said that Hamas appreciates the political and legal importance of this lawsuit. Even as Israel continues to strike Gaza, it has announced its decision to draw down troops. Instead, it will withdraw 5 brigades or several thousand troops from Gaza in the upcoming weeks. As Israeli military continues its war against Hamas ahead of the Israeli attack in Beirut that killed a senior Hamas official, the UN has urged for a maximum restraint. Mourners in Iraq marked the 4th anniversary of the killing of Soleimani and al-Muhandis in Baghdad. Both Soleimani and al-Muhandis were killed on Jan 3rd, 2020 in a U.S. drone strike ordered by the U.S. President Donald Trump. Donald Trump has escalated his verbal attacks on immigrants and lauded their Eisenhower area raids without using its name. Trump is seeking a second term and has promised voters he will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, exceeding the 1950s. 4 people have died and more than 90 are said to be injured after the Russian military launched a barbaric missile and drone strike on Kiev. The Kremlin's forces have launched over 170 Shahid drones and dozens of missiles of various types against Ukrainian targets. Russian Defense Ministry has shared a series of videos of its airstrikes in Ukraine after the Russian military attacked a Ukrainian military-industrial complex in Kiev on its outskirts that manufactured missile drones and repair weapons. Rescue operations are still underway in Tokyo after a series of earthquakes hit the country on New Year's Day. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said that we are at a critical moment and rescue of disaster victims is a race against time. After a passenger plane collided with a Coast Guard aircraft on the runway, it burst into flames, killing 5 people aboard on the plane. Now the transport officials and the police have begun their investigation into the case. South Korea's President Yoon Suk-yeol has condemned the attack on opposition leader Lee Jae-myung, calling it an act of terrorism. Lee Jae-myung was stabbed in the neck by an unidentified man during a visit to Busan. Harvard University President Claudine Gay has resigned amid plagiarism accusations and criticism over testimony at a congressional hearing where she was unable to say clearly that calls on campus for the genocide of Jews would violate the school's conduct policy. Ahead of the general elections in Bangladesh on Sunday, critics have hit at Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, saying that she threatens democracy. They also say that her government uses harsh tools to muzzle dissent, shrink press freedoms, and curtail civil society. Karolina Pliskova defeated Naomi Osaka in the second round of the Brisbane International, halting Osaka's WTA Tour comeback event. And this was Osaka's first tournament after 15 months. And a 16-year-old darts sensation, Liu.
Powered by Amity University, ranked amongst the top 3 universities globally.
सर आप बहुत लकी है कि आपके बेटे ने हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस और बाकी सारी फॉर्मेलिटीज टाइम से पूरी कर दी है। अब आप घर जा सकते हैं।
मेरा बेटा?
तो फिर आप?
पॉलिसी बाजार।
क्लेम के टाइम पे हमेशा आपकी हेल्प को तैयार। पॉलिसी बाजार, 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
There's a way to open up a world of opportunities with the most reputed companies of the world. The way 98% of our students secured placement last year, with top rankings and coveted accreditation to show for them. The MBA programs at the Amrita School of Business. Admissions have opened. Apply now.
मोदी सरकार की गारंटी, किसानों को हर साल रुपए 6,000, 11 करोड़ 80 लाख किसानों को अब तक 2,60,000 करोड़ रुपए की सहायता। हमारा संकल्प विकसित भारत।
आपने सोमानी का नया रोल देखा? वही स्टाइल और रेंज सोमानी बाथवेयर में भी। सोमानी बाथवेयर।
And viewers, welcome back. We're live in breaking exclusive Republic Media Network's editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami spoke to the former AG Mukul Rohatgi. Listen in.
On the big Adani verdict of the Supreme Court, I'm joined by top legal eagle, Supreme Court senior advocate, former Attorney General. We have with us Mr. Mukul Rohatgi. Good evening, sir. You know, this Adani verdict today is already the subject of a political conversation. In a sense, the court has reposed its faith, Mr. Rohatgi, in the SEBI. Now, does this amount to an exoneration of the Adani group completely, in your view?
I think it does, because Adani Group has been saying from the beginning that it has not conducted any dubious transactions or any malfeasance or misfeasance on their behalf. The Supreme Court has upheld the integrity of SEBI. It has upheld the integrity of the committee appointed by the Supreme Court, headed by a retired judge. It has also commented adversely on petitions being filed based on third-party reports which are not verified and which cannot be called evidence. And it has also rejected a transfer of investigation from SEBI to any criminal body like a CBI, etc. So according to me, on all fronts, the Supreme Court has refused to entertain any plea raised by the writ petitioners.
In fact, if I'm not mistaken, SEBI is also going to investigate, who made the money due to the short selling after the Hindenburg report. So that also should be a focus, shouldn't it? Because the Adani Group lost a lot of value in this period. It lost over 40, 50, 60 billion dollars
right.
in value in that short period. So what happens there?
Yeah, but see, Arnab, you are absolutely right. I have been saying on different channels that the focus should not only be on Adani as a group. The real focus should be on the shareholders, including the small stakeholders who have invested their life savings in the Adani companies. It is they who have suffered. I mean, Mr. Adani may have suffered loss of reputation, etc., etc. But the real suffering is by the man who feels the pinch. They have lost money because a professional organization whose avowed object is to do short selling, create upheaval in the market and make money, has got away with this. And therefore, we have to wipe a tear from every eye to see that those people who have suffered, there should be some recompense to them. How will that recompense come? The recompense can only come, as you rightly say, by finding out who were the people who made these windfall profits. If they are available in India or are within the reach of the law in India, then certainly the law must go after them, because these are unjustified windfall profits. They are tainted with illegality.
But is that possible? Is it possible to chase that? Because Mr. Rohatgi, in our country, it is said that malicious prosecution is very difficult to achieve. Equally, who would be the party who would do the recompensation here? I mean, Hindenburg cannot be made to pay up. So if the Adani group or individual shareholders have lost money, who do they go after? I mean, can they go after the political parties who passed this falsehood as the truth? Should they go after the political parties or the specific individuals who are part of a concerted campaign to make the Hindenburg report look, like the last word?
Arunab, I will answer it in two phases. One, the political parties are guilty of highlighting these issues and creating havoc in the market, leading to losses of the shareholders. They are guilty of that, and they have filed petitions or backed these petitions. So first thing, the court should have dismissed these petitions or should have closed these matters by imposing huge costs for filing frivolous PILs which had no basis, spending valuable court time which could be used by a lot of under trials who lost, and etc., etc. So they should be mulcted with costs so as to provide an adverse scenario for those who indulge in these kind of PILs, which are not public interest litigations but private interest litigations, or if I may use the phrase used by the Supreme Court in some cases as publicity interest litigation. So that is one part. The second part is, as you rightly say, that if Hindenburg is not available in India, then it is very difficult to go after Hindenburg for purposes of recompense. But if there are other parties which are within the reach of the law, who have made these gains which were unauthorized, then one can have an investigation to see if somebody loses, then somebody wins. Who is that person who has won that money in short-term gains? And if they are within the reach of the law, investigation should be done and the matter should be followed to the logical end for purposes of recompense.
That's very, very important, because there has to be some justice at some point. Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, thank you very much for speaking to me and consistently maintaining your stand on this Adani issue, which has been proven to be completely correct. Mukul Rohatgi, it's a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
हमारे देश को आजाद हुए 76 साल हो गए, लेकिन कई चीजों में हमको अभी आजादी नहीं मिली, जैसे कि सरकारी दफ्तरों में दुश्वारियां, परेशानियां, बदइंतजामियां। हमारे शहीदों को इस बात की कतई चिंता नहीं थी कि देश को आजादी मिलेगी या ना, लेकिन उनको एक बात की चिंता थी कि आजादी के बाद देश कौन से हाथों में जाएगा, देश के हालात क्या होंगे। हमने आजादी की जंग इसलिए लड़ी थी ताकि हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ियों की जिंदगी आसान हो सके, ना कि इसलिए कि वो जगह जगह पर सरकारी दफ्तरों में धक्के खाएं, परेशानियों का सामना करना पड़े। अगर जंग सबने इकट्ठे होकर लड़ी थी आजादी की, तो फिर सुख सहूलतें भी सबको इकट्ठी मिलनी चाहिए। हम तो शहीदों के पांव की मिट्टी के एक धूल के तिनके के बराबर भी नहीं है, लेकिन ये बसंती रंग की पग शहीदों के सपनों और इरादों की हमें याद दिलाती रहती है कि हमारे देश में आम लोगों के सिर्फ दिन रात नहीं, हालात बदलने चाहिए। चुनाव के समय हम लोगों के पास जा सकते हैं, तो चुनाव के बाद सरकार बनती है, तो सरकार बनने के बाद भी सरकारों को जनता के पास जाना चाहिए, ना कि जनता सरकारी दफ्तरों में खज्जल खुआर हो। यही आजादी के असली मायने हैं। शहीद आजम सरदार भगत सिंह जी के सपनों को साकार करने के लिए पंजाब सरकार ने फैसला किया है कि पंजाब के लोगों को अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर नहीं लगाने पड़ेंगे, बल्कि सरकारी दफ्तर खुद चल के लोगों के घर पर आएंगे।
अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर काटने की जरूरत नहीं, बस डायल करें 1076 और सरकारी सुविधाएं अपने घर पर ही पाएं। पंजाब की भगवंत मान सरकार आपके द्वार।
Hi, what's that? That's a Manish Malhotra. Not your dress. The cupboard. The laminate is a Manish Malhotra design.
Century Laminates by Manish Malhotra. Fashion for your furniture.
Live it up, live it up.
Burning Question, powered by Kent Oro, co-powered by Sera.
Good evening and welcome, friends. This Wednesday edition of Burning Question. The Congress party caught looking London, talking Tokyo on the Adani issue. Unfortunately, not accepting the Supreme Court verdict as well. On a day when Jairam Ramesh came out with a two-page analysis of the verdict, not essentially accepting it, their own Chief Minister Revant Reddy in Telangana was seen welcoming an Adani delegation led by Karan Adani and discussing investments, growth prospects, among other things. So obviously, the Congress party has two yardsticks, one for Delhi, another one for Hyderabad, and that's going to be our focus, this burning question. Let me begin with the headlines first. After arrest of car sevak, Indie leader now fearmongers with another Godhra possible remark. Lobby narrative completely crumbles as Supreme Court calls for probe into the Hindenburg malafide. But despite the verdict, the India-Adani rant continues, says top court extraordinarily generous to SEBI. Congress hypocrisy on Adani stands exposed. Jairam slams, but Revant Reddy welcomes delegation. Under lens for liquor gate, Kejriwal skips summons for third time, calls them illegal and invalid. And in Thrissur, Prime Minister holds a mega roadshow. Hits out at left, Congress in an unrelenting attack. Welcome back, friends. The Supreme Court today has quashed a batch of pleas seeking a SIT probe in the Adani Hindenburg case. The report by the US-based firm was used by the opposition to take on the Modi government. The verdict, of course, by the apex court was not welcomed by the Congress party, even as their own chief minister was seen welcoming one delegation. Let's look at this story in a capsule, and then I come back for a conversation.
The Adani attack, a fatal blow according to the opposition. Turns out to be a big dud. Three-judge Supreme Court bench, headed by the Chief Justice of India, said there were no grounds for an SIT to probe the case.
Judgment is spoken now, and the judgment says that the judgment is taken in view there is no conflict of interest, and I think that settles the issue. And therefore, irrespective of what people may say, today there is a judgment of the Supreme Court till it is, assuming it is sought to be reviewed, till unless a different view is taken in review, today it is the settled position, and it is not only an interpretation, it is a conclusive finding on the various issues that were raised, including conflict of interest.
The opposition clearly is unhappy with the Supreme Court order. This with the Congress and the left being most vocal about the SC verdict. Indy continues on Adani rant despite verdict as their narrative falls apart. Why won't Indy accept the Supreme Court verdict? Let's debate.
All right, with me in the studio, Senior Advocate Teshrata Nigam, political analyst live from Delhi. Also, Sumant Raman, political analyst, joining us live from Chennai. And we have Yogendra Kapoor, economist, live from Delhi. I would want to begin with Sheetal P. Singh, senior journalist. And let's see if we can really defend the Congress party position today. You see, Mr. Singh, the Congress party continues to say it's Modani. Is it time that they should be modifying it, and instead of Modani, they should be calling it something like Supreme Court Ani, because the Supreme Court essentially has spoken today, the topmost court of the country, and there is nothing above that. They lay the law of the land, and according to them, the SEBI is doing the right job. There is something that is amiss in what Hindenburg did, and the Supreme Court has said that even the Hindenburg report should be investigated by agencies if there is a violation of law. What more could the court have said by way of clarity? Mr. Sheetal P. Singh.
Oh, yes. I
think there's some audio issue.
It
Mr.
took some
Sheetal
time
Singh, are you
because of
getting me?
the internet connection.
Are you getting me? My
with
question
me.
was to you.
Some time because of the internet connection with me.
Sure.
I heard a part of your question, but not the complete question.
My question is, how is the Congress party continuing to stick to its position and with some double standards, if I could add, despite the Supreme Court verdict today in the Adani case?
That is Congress to answer, but as I see from the verdict which has been delivered in Supreme Court, it was related to the earlier order about the investigation by SEBI itself. And the court is of the view that the petitioners have not provided any extraordinary material by which the allegations about the functioning of the SEBI in this matter could draw the attention of Supreme Court. And Supreme Court find that the petitioners also failed to provide additional charges which they were labeling about the people who are particularly investigating this matter, that their interest, whether it falls in the purview of asking for a SIT or any other agency's inquiry by Supreme Court. Supreme Court find that there is they find that there is no case of such involvement of Supreme Court. So, okay, Supreme Court can have its view, and the political parties still can have other view, and even on judgments they can have their views. So Congress is there to answer why
political
and
party,
for what they want that this issue should be.
Sumant Raman, political party is absolutely entitled to a view, but then the view can't be different in Delhi.
On the SEBI part, Supreme Court...
the view can't be different in Hyderabad than the one in Delhi if the Congress party is same, Sumant Raman. Revant Reddy last heard, despite Asaduddin Owaisi calling him RSS Anna, happens to be a Congress party chief minister. And he is sitting with an Adani delegation, ironically on a day when the Supreme Court has come out with this verdict, Sumant Raman.
I want to make 3 or 4 very quick points. First of all, the Supreme Court is not clean chit given to anybody. It is basically to say that the SEBI is proving it. We don't need an independent outside session. That does not mean that there is no probe. We can close down. In fact, today they want more time for the SEBI probe and so on. So let's be very clear. This is a external issue which has been sort of opined on. Second, Revant Reddy meeting members of the Adani group, the charges are clearly specific. Whether it is in the OCRC report or whether it is in the Hindenburg report, all the charges that are getting made, they have very clearly and specifically given charges. This is not, people are involved in something X or Y. These are specific dates, specific accounts, specific names which are linked to these accounts. Everything has been given. So to say that Revant Reddy should sort of stop associating himself with the entire group, or stop associating because of specific charges. Indian business group which does not have charges unless there is some state or the other. So you will not get any group. So then people basically states will have to say we won't have any industry in our state, which is not happening. Now the point is specific charges have been made.
So obviously, if what is good for the goose should be good for the gander, right?
That's all.
If it is about growth, economy, jobs, development, etc. in Telangana, as it is about jobs, growth, development, etc. in Vizianjam port in Kerala, so it should be in Gujarat, so it should be in Mumbai. Why double standards?
This does not legitimize or justify the matter of which the Adani Group is accused of. That has to be investigated.
Are you suggesting, Sumant Raman, clearly, are you really suggesting that the Adani Group would get without any hanky-panky in a state like Telangana, where Congress rules, in a state like Kerala, where Communist Party rules, in a state like Bengal, where Mamata Banerjee rules, but would have to indulge in hanky-panky in a state like Gujarat, which is their home state where the BJP is in power? I mean, is that the logic?
Not at all. The point is, if there are charges against in their interactions with the Telangana government or with the Kerala government, let it be brought out into the public domain. Let that be investigated, and if there is something which is improper with the Congress government or with Communist government, by all means proceed against those people and the politicians.
I think Sumant Raman can't it be admitted that the Congress party just does not understand, does not understand that its politics is not helping its cause. Can the Congress party really, or somebody can tell the Congress party that its politics is not helping its cause? For example, if they say Modi and Adani is Modani, then in that case, Revant Reddy and Adani becomes Redani. Then in that case, Pinarayi plus Adani becomes Pindani. Then in that case, Mamata Banerjee plus Adani becomes Bindani. Deshratan Nigam.
Abhishek, but I don't think that there is a personal relationship between any of these people.
Sumant, the question is to
all over social media of the private and so on.
Takeaways from the judgment of today is that Adani has been given a clean chit.
Mr. Raman, let Deshratan Nigam speak. I have asked him. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that is what I was saying, Abhishek. Each one has a different point of view. Is that question for me or is it for Mr. Nigam?
Mr. Adani. Second, the action that the government should take against Hindenburg for market manipulation and the fraud that has been committed, and the protection of Indian investors. These are three takeaways. And then, if you recall, Rajasthan also invited Adani's. Kerala, you've already pointed out. Telangana, you've pointed out. West Bengal also, Adanis are investing. And therefore, at this point of time, let us be very clear, this was a deep committed conspiracy where Mahua Moitra also got involved into it, where specific questions were asked. And therefore, today what you have to see is the deep-rooted NGOs which are working against India. OCCRP is a Soros-funded organization. Prashant Bhushan's links are also there. This, the government of India must investigate and ensure that the Hindenburg and their agent in India needs to be punished. That is what the real takeaway from this is. The fraud is committed by Hindenburg, which they committed in US also, where they are suffering a lot of prosecution and penalty as well. Similar thing should happen in India. The Supreme Court has clearly said so in its judgment that if they have done any wrong about short selling, making money out of, creating havoc in Indian stock market, they need to be punished because it is clearly a crime.
Therefore, the key takeaways I am saying, the Supreme Court has made it very, very clear today that this is the path through this judgment that the government of India must take. If this is not only about Adani, tomorrow it could be an attack on the Reliance, it could be on Tata's, it could be on Mahindra's. So it could be anything. So we need to be very futuristic about such people and unearth this conspiracy and punish the people both in India and those who are also,
before I get in the expert economist comment from Mr. Kapoor, I want to go back to Sheetal Singh. Mr. Sheetal Singh, the point that Deshratan Nigam is making is something which some other political observers have also made, which is that there is a clique working in the Supreme Court, which almost hijacks every issue. From Pegasus to Rafale to, in this case, Adani Hindenburg, same set of people, same set of petitioners, and there seems to be common linkages. It's not just about George Soros and OCCRP, which, by the way, the Supreme Court verdict pans today. It's about other set of people who are sort of trying to use legal process and hijack these issues and try to give them political spin. Mr. Singh, I think you have muted your audio. Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry, Samil. I was saying that even when BJP was in opposition, we know that most of the issues of those kind of issues which were of national relevance and which were opposing the dispensation then were raised by Mr. Jaitley and some good lawyers of our country which were associated with BJP or like that. So because Congress is in opposition and whosoever opposition parties, lawyers and others, you will find them in many of the cases where government is challenged. It's natural. I don't think it's I don't take it as a conspiracy or anything like that. It is their job to raise the questions of national relevance and wherein allegations of such nature as they are there, like siphoning of several hundred thousands of crores
the Supreme
of Indian
Court
money
is actually suggesting, right?
many
the Supreme Court
accounts
is
in
actually
Singapore,
suggesting
Mauritius and
that
other
there seems to be
places.
an element of
It has
violation
the
of
value to be
law.
raised.
The Supreme Court is
And,
suggesting that.
rightly
They are
deserving.
saying that not just SEBI, but even investigative agencies should look at the Hindenburg report from the prism of the possibility of violation of Indian law. Deshratan Nigam?
Yes, absolutely. And there is a clear signal to the government that please take some action, deeply investigate it, and unearth whatever the violations of the law are there. Because fraud has also been committed by manipulating the market, then short selling and making profit out of it also. Therefore, there is a clear indication and direction to the government of India by Supreme Court. Please take action on Hindenburg.
Absolutely. And Mr. Yogesh Kapoor, you see, the Congress defense, even now, is about their fight against crony capitalism. Of course, Jairam Ramesh forgets the pictures of Revant Reddy and of Pinarayi Vijayan and of their own leader of opposition at the Vizian Jam port and the Congress party giving credit to their own leader at that time for getting the Vizian Jam port. But Mr. Yogesh Kapoor, is it really about crony capitalism? Is Adani's story not about India's overall march to progress? It's not just about one corporate group. It's about India's march to progress and some forces not liking it. And that's why these kind of stories off and on and targeting one group purely because the group happens to be from the home state of the Prime Minister, nothing else.
Right. First thing I would like to say about the Adani group is that let's look at the fundamentals of this group that they are into. They are into ports, airports, mining business. Now, these are businesses which require strong fundamentals and which are based on your strong financials and the ability to, work in a manner that it can be seen very well by your financials. Now, the Hindenburg report had basically alleged two major issues, which is the stock market manipulation as well as the accounting fraud by the Adani Group. Now, once the Supreme Court has now clearly stated that this matter doesn't require any further investigation and that the findings of SEBI are competent and reliable enough, I think this issue is put to rest. Now, what I would certainly like is that this manner of putting up false narratives and then trying to build up on that should be clearly be seen not only by the courts but by the government also, that what kind of actions can be taken against those who put up false narratives to project the credibility of the wealth creators of this country in bad light, and henceforth the other aspects which is related to the foreign investment into our country, they directly get affected because of these, as well as the credibility of the institutions as well. So my point is that it's very important that the Supreme Court has already stated that the action needs to be taken by SEBI and government in Hindenburg, in case they are found to be in violation of the rules as such of short selling. So the point is that I think it's very important that this should come to a logical end in terms of civil and criminal liabilities being put against them.
Absolutely. Mr. Sumant Raman, some other parts of the Supreme Court verdict are telling, or in fact damning, if you will, about the motivations of the petitioners. So obviously, because it's a strong clique, the Supreme Court would not use strong words perhaps. But then this is, and Deshrattan Nigam, you practice in the Supreme Court, you know whom we are talking about. Sumant Raman, let's look at the observation. This is the Supreme Court of the country saying, petitions that rely on unverified and unrelated material tend to be counterproductive. So I think there is a sort of wise counsel on the part of the Supreme Court to the petitioners, please desist from basing your petitions on baseless material, right? Then the Supreme Court says newspaper articles and OCCRP report is not conclusive proof to doubt a SEBI probe. The Congress party continues to doubt SEBI probe based on exactly the same content. A Financial Times report, OCCRP report, which the Supreme Court has already junked.
Good, Abhishek. I can only say it's amazing that the work of such a large body of investigative journalists from around the world, based on which several other countries have found it worthy of launching investigations, is deemed to be worthless by our Supreme Court. I guess we have to accept it, because you can't question the court. But I think that if most of the world has found the investigations done by these groups, earlier, whether it was in the form of Panama Papers and so on. By the way, even in Panama Papers, what happened to the Indians whose names figured there? Nothing. So I think it's time that we sort of accept all of these, that we do not, if the court feels that is not evidence, then maybe they should tell us what they believe. Not evidence. At least they feel it's not even worth information to start a detailed investigation or a criminal investigation. Good luck to them. That's all one can say. Very unfortunate, but that's the way it is. They are the ones who make the decision. They are the ones who write the judgment.
So very disheartened. Sumant Raman, why be so disheartened? I mean, it's Supreme Court of the country, for God's sake. In another matter, the Supreme Court might say, for example, on the Election Commission, that this act of the government is not right. Then you would be very happy about the Supreme Court. Just because it's not to your liking, you're shouting a little dejected. That's what it seems.
No. I'm just pointing out. I'm pointing out the number of countries that have taken these kind of reports by groups of investigative journalists and acted on them. And they include even countries like Pakistan. I mean, what the motivation would have been for people like in Pakistan to have acted against it? You remember the case against Nawaz Sharif. Much of it came from Panama Papers. So let's be very clear. Investigative journalists, especially consortia of investigative journalists, put in a lot of effort. They carry a lot of credibility in most civilized democratic countries. they don't carry much credibility in
Sumant
India.
Raman,
Now,
there is almost a suggestion in your words that the topmost court of the country has lesser credibility than a bunch of possibly motivated journalists carrying out a hatchet job on behalf of somebody.
No. 1 minute. On behalf of who? So, this George Soros thing is being done to death. I think yesterday I was waiting for somebody to say that truckers had been paid by George Soros. So, it is becoming, you don't need any evidence. And all you can do is say, George Soros has done this, George Soros has done that. Farm agitation must be funded by George Soros. I mean, but it's fine. I think this is what the people of the country, or large sections of them are willing to swallow. Good luck.
In any case, last word. Last word to Deshratan Nigam. Quickly, Deshratan Nigam, 30 seconds. The court has said that the threshold for the transfer of investigation has not been reached or demonstrated to exist in this instance, and the SEBI can continue its job.
Yes, certainly, Abhishek. In fact, it has become a very convenient tool for the leftists and the so-called liberal journalists, paid journalists, I would say, where they, started doubting our own agencies, where they are doing, and these are autonomous agencies, constitutional creations through an act of the parliament. Now, if SEBI is not allowed to do its work, who will do the work? Supreme Court's job is not to investigate the matter. So, prima facie, they did not find anything wrong. They, in fact, doubted the integrity of the members of the expert committee itself. Now, after the verdict, they are doubting the integrity of the judges of the Supreme Court.
And Sumant Raman, that's the unfortunate part. And the fact that just because Sumant Raman is being a little graceful, he's only sounding dejected. But I have, for example, this tweet by Sabah Naqvi. If there is an issue to be fought for, please don't go to the Supreme Court. The knives are out for the Supreme Court already. And that's the most unfortunate part that this country has to face. The farmers who agitated knew that never sought court intervention but had mass agitation instead. This is a call for anarchy because you have not liked the Supreme Court verdict today. How long would the nation watch this and take this kind of takedown of our institutions by people like Sabah Naqvi is something we should be asking. On that note, Deshratan Nigam, Suman Raman, Sheetal P. Singh, and of course Yogesh Kapoor, thank you so much for joining us. This conversation is going to continue. A short break. Trending burning question is on the other side.
मेरे भाई अरविंद कुमार की कुछ महीने पहले एक्सीडेंट में डेथ हो गई। उन्होंने पॉलिसी बाजार से टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लिया हुआ था जो अब भाभी के घर के खर्च और बच्चों की पढ़ाई में काम आएगा। पॉलिसी बाजार की टीम ने क्लेम दिलवाने में हमारी पूरी मदद की।
क्लेम के टाइम पे आपकी हेल्प के लिए हमेशा तैयार। पॉलिसी बाजार, 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 470 रुपए महीने से शुरू।
QSMT achieved the world's foremost university rankings. Organizations have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
फिल्म अनुकूल नीति, सिंगल विंडो सिस्टम, ऑनलाइन शूटिंग की अनुमति और सब्सिडी की सुविधा ने उत्तर प्रदेश को बनाया है देश का मोस्ट फिल्म फ्रेंडली स्टेट। 80 फिल्मों को सब्सिडी के तौर पर दिए गए हैं 44 करोड़ रुपए। विभिन्न स्थानों पर 450 से अधिक फिल्मों की हुई है शूटिंग। स्थानीय कलाकारों को मिला है अपना हुनर दिखाने का अवसर। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी मानते हैं कि सकारात्मक फिल्में समाज को जागरूक बनाने का आधार हैं। इसी के अनुरूप माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी की पहल पर विश्व स्तरीय सुविधाओं से लैस इंटरनेशनल फिल्म सिटी की स्थापना की जा रही है। फिल्म स्टूडियो, होटल्स, मॉल्स, थीम पार्क, मिक्सिंग और रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो जैसी सुविधाएं फिल्म उद्योग के माध्यम से आकर्षित करेंगी पूंजी निवेश। मोस्ट फिल्म फ्रेंडली स्टेट, नए भारत का नया उत्तर प्रदेश।
इस पल को मुमकिन करने के लिए आदित्य ने पहले से ही शुरुआत कर दी थी।
और म्यूचुअल फंड से शुरुआत करना जिम्मेदारी की निशानी है।
म्यूचुअल फंड निवेश बाजार जोखिमों के अधीन है। योजना से जुड़े सभी दस्तावेजों को ध्यान से पढ़ें।
मोदी सरकार की गारंटी, भारत होगा गरीबी मुक्त। 5 सालों में 13 करोड़ 50 लाख लोगों को गरीबी से बाहर निकाला। हमारा संकल्प विकसित भारत।
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
भाई इतनी बड़ी बड़ी हिट्स आप लोगों ने मुझे दी हैं। टाइल्स बड़े होने चाहिए। सुमानी मैक्स टाइल्स, टाइलों का सबसे बड़ा भाई। सुमानी मैक्स टाइल्स जमीन से जुड़े।
हमारे देश को आजाद हुए 76 साल हो गए, लेकिन कई चीजों में हमको अभी आजादी नहीं मिली। जैसे कि सरकारी दफ्तरों में दुश्वारियां, परेशानियां, बदइंतजामियां। हमारे शहीदों को इस बात की कतई चिंता नहीं थी कि देश को आजादी मिलेगी या ना, लेकिन उनको एक बात की चिंता थी कि आजादी के बाद देश कौन से हाथों में जाएगा, देश के हालात क्या होंगे। हमने आजादी की जंग इसलिए लड़ी थी ताकि हमारी आने वाली पीढ़ियों की जिंदगी आसान हो सके, ना कि इसलिए कि वो जगह जगह पर सरकारी दफ्तरों में धक्के खाएं, परेशानियों का सामना करना पड़े। अगर जंग सबने इकट्ठे होकर लड़ी थी आजादी की, तो फिर सुख सहूलतें भी सबको इकट्ठी मिलनी चाहिए। हम तो शहीदों के पांव की मिट्टी के एक धूल के तिनके के बराबर भी नहीं है, लेकिन ये बसंती रंग की पग शहीदों के सपनों और इरादों की हमें याद दिलाती रहती है कि हमारे देश में आम लोगों के सिर्फ दिन रात नहीं, हालात बदलने चाहिए। चुनाव के समय हम लोगों के पास जा सकते हैं, तो चुनाव के बाद सरकार बनती है, तो सरकार बनने के बाद भी सरकारों को जनता के पास जाना चाहिए, ना कि जनता सरकारी दफ्तरों में खज्जल खुआर हो। यही आजादी के असली मायने हैं। शहीद आजम सरदार भगत सिंह जी के सपनों को साकार करने के लिए पंजाब सरकार ने फैसला किया है कि पंजाब के लोगों को अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर नहीं लगाने पड़ेंगे, बल्कि सरकारी दफ्तर खुद चल के लोगों के घर पर आएंगे।
अब सरकारी दफ्तरों के चक्कर काटने की जरूरत नहीं, बस डायल करें 1076 और सरकारी सुविधाएं अपने घर पर ही पाएं। पंजाब की भगवंत मान सरकार आपके द्वार।
Trending burning question, powered by Reva University, Century Laminates, AMNS, Acco Insurance and Hyundai Summit.
Thank you for joining us on the Trending Burning Question here on Republic TV. It's 8:30 p.m. and a subject that we've been debating all day long, not just on Republic Kannada but also on Republic TV, is of the kind of comments, actions that we are seeing around the Ram Mandir inauguration. For example, it's been a controversial week because you've had the Congress party or the Congress government in Karnataka pick up a car sevak after 31 years. Was that required? You can ask that question. And then today you have a very senior leader, someone who's been a parliamentarian for several terms, at least 4 terms, say that another Godhra-like incident is possible ahead of the Ram Mandir inauguration. And with all the kind of politics that we are seeing around January 22nd, the question is the Congress party or some in the Congress party, the India Alliance, are they fear-mongering? Are they trying to create a controversy? What's the real intent when such comments are made? Take a look at the comment and then the debate.
Paranoia continues in the Indie bloc ahead of 2024 elections. Rahul's man spews anti-Hindu venom with a shocking Godhra analogy in Karnataka.
ಇದು ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಉನ್ಮಾದವನ್ನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಲ್ಲ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ಕಟ್ಟೆಚ್ಚರಗಳನ್ನು ಸಹ ವಹಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಗುಜರಾತಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೇ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರಸೇವಕರ ದಹನ ನಡೆದಿತ್ತು ಗೋಧ್ರಾದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಅಹಿತಕರವಾದ ಘಟನೆ ನಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಅಯೋಧ್ಯೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯ ಬಂದೋಬಸ್ತನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಗೋದ್ರಾನ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಜೊತೆ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. ಕೆಲವು ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳ ಪ್ರಮುಖರು ಕೆಲವು ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಣೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪ್ರಚೋದನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಅದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಬಹಿರಂಗವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪ್ರಚೋದನಕಾರಿಯಾದ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಿಗೆ ಕುಮ್ಮಕ್ಕು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಒಡಿಸ್ಸಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದೆ 3 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ. ನೀವೇ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಇದ್ದರೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅದು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜನತಾ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಯ ಪದಾಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕರ್ತ ಕರೆದು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ವಿಚಾರಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದು ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
Next, it is Karnataka Chief Minister's son who goes on an unchecked anti-Hindu rant.
ಅಂಬೇಡ್ಕರ್ ಅವರೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹಿಂದೂ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡದಾದ ಅಪಾಯ ಈ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ನೆರೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಗಳನ್ನೇ ನೋಡಿ, ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಫ್ಘಾನಿಸ್ತಾನ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಇರಾನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಧರ್ಮದ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರನ ಅವರು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿಂದ, ಧರ್ಮದ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ನಡೆಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವರು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಡಬೇಕಾಯಿತು. ದೇಶ ವಿನಾಶ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಹೋಯಿತು. ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಜನರು ತಮ್ಮ ಹಕ್ಕುಗಳನ್ನು ಕಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಯಿತು. ಆದರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಆ ಜಾತ್ಯತೀತ ತತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಅಪಾಯ ಈಗಿನ ಆಡಳಿತ ಪಕ್ಷದವರಾದಂತಹ BJPಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪಕ್ಷದ ಮಾತೃ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಾದಂತಹ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಾದಂತಹ RSS ಅವರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶಕ್ಕೂ ಉಂಟಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ಮತ್ತೆ ದೇಶನ ಹಿಂದೂ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೊರಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಅವಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡ್ಬಾರ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶ ಕೂಡ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ, ಅಫ್ಘಾನಿಸ್ತಾನಗಳಂಥ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಎಚ್ಚರಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಯಾವ ಪಕ್ಷ ಧರ್ಮದ ಹೆಸರಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು.
It is evident that the indie bloc is terrified and just looking for a way to gain some brownie points.
Something has happened long back and everything has been settled. Even the court has given its verdict and everything has. Now just he want to create confusion in the minds of the people who are going to Ayodhya, saying that something may happen in the train. Again one more Godhra incident may happen, thereby creating a fear psychosis across in the mind of the people across the country. It is quite unfair.